Hey guys, thanks for joining me again. Just wanted to make a video about the power of words and about social engineering that's going on right now. I call this one word spells and trance words, and I called it that because there's an immense power that's in words that helps to create things in the natural, and the enemy uses this very effectively to make people think in certain ways that destroy them. And so I wanted to talk a lot about this, and I'm going to go over some of the major things that are going on in our culture and hopefully give you some tools and some ways to recognize when the enemy is trying to manipulate you with words. So let's begin. I want to start off by defining some of the terminology I'll be using in this video. The word spell has two primary definitions. It's a spoken word or form of words held to have magic power. It's a state of enchantment. And second definition is strong, compelling influence or attraction, which is primarily the way that I'll be defining the term word spells in this video. The second word I want to define is trance, and it's a half-conscious state characterized by an absence of response to external stimuli, typically as induced by hypnosis or entered by a medium. So basically, it's a way to inoculate or disengage people. Now that we've gone over some basic definitions, I want to expound more on the terms that we're using today. A word spell is a word or phrase that creates a strong sense of alarm, outrage, or animosity, and thereby motivates people to oppose a person, group, or an idea. It's based on social engineering, things that we're programmed with through the television, through education, and other ways. And it's a way to weaponize language to make people do things that they wouldn't normally do if they were thinking critically. By contrast, a trance word is a word or phrase that causes one to disengage, dismiss, disparage, or diminish the message or cause of a person, group, or an idea. So this is a way to inoculate people, to lead people away from something that could help them, to not listen to an important message that could save their life. The first major category of word spells I want to go over are related to racial dissension. And this is something that, due to Marxism, has absolutely just metastasized in our culture. It's very toxic, and I want to really warn people about these terms that we're going to go over on this one. One of the agendas today is to undermine Western Christian values and principles, and because of that, they're basically making a war on white people. And so words like white supremacy, whiteness, white privilege, white nationalism, Nazi, far right, alt-right, police brutality, and systematic racism are weaponized. Another word that's used a lot is anti-Semitism, and there is legitimate anti-Semitism, I don't deny that, but it's often overused to completely dismiss all valid criticisms of the media or certain powerful people that happen to be Jewish. The second major category is identity perversion, and I define this as the degradation of basic human roles and the divine order God created for each person's life. And the major perpetrators of this are the LGBTQ community, the transgender community, and recently the transhumanism community made popular by Elon Musk. These groups are constantly undermining the roles God has created for every person and really inhibit relationship with God and right relationship with people as a result. Some of the major word spells are homophobic, transphobic, heteronormative, sexist, bigoted, or bigotry. Be tolerant was used a lot in the 90s. Today they say be inclusive, which are designed as a way to get someone to be quiet and accept something that's a lie. And now it's time for insurrection, the latest word spell. We all know the event very well now. January 6, 2021, a protest of the election results erupted into a riot at the Capitol. Police let Trump supporters in, let them walk around the building, and then later arrested them. They also shot a woman that was unarmed named Ashley Babbitt who was trying to get through a certain area. To this day, we do not know the guy's name that shot her, and he's being exonerated. So what's really weird is surveillance tapes have not been released, and that tells me that there's something that went on with that we need to find out about. And so now every time we hear this word insurrection, we know that we're being manipulated into giving up more power to the government and a police state. I now want to transition over into trance words, and my favorite trance word right now is anti-vaxxer. It's a term used to discredit anyone who questions vaccine safety, efficacy, or has moral objections to vaccines. They pretty much label everybody that doesn't want to go along with the vaccine agenda anti-vaxxer. Even if you just don't want the government to mandate it, they'll call you anti-vaxxer. And this is ridiculous because there's lots of safety issues with vaccines. Manufacturers are not legally liable. That should tell you that they have lots of vaccine injuries they don't want to pay for. And vaccine research is paid for by taxpayers, so it's a very corrupt practice. Perhaps the mother of all trans words, in my opinion, is the term conspiracy theorist. And it's responsible for robbing millions of people of critical thinking about government lies and propaganda. Because of this term, many people have been completely asleep to what the worldwide elites are doing in government, business, and media, and their power and wealth have increased, and they've been taking more of our freedoms every decade. The newer term that they use a lot is misinformation. It's a way to diminish and discredit people who are exposing their lies in the government. And let's just face it, the government narratives have been lies for many decades, and we need to talk about it. The final term I want to discuss today is the term climate denier, and it's particularly annoying because they've been predicting climate apocalypse for over 50 years. Whether it was global warming, global cooling, or now climate change, all of their predictions have failed. Even though people have sued to get the data that they use for these disaster models, they never show that data. And this guy thinks you should go to jail if you don't go along with the pseudoscience priesthood and the climate hustlers' plans. All this really boils down to is that they want a global tax to fund a global government, and they want to be able to control every economy in the world. And this is why it needs to be resisted. But when you resist, someone like this comes on the scene, this Greta Thunberg, and she's sent out there just like Nazis sent out children to basically attack people who don't believe in climate change, and it looks really bad if you defend yourself against little children. And this is one of the many sick things that they do to manipulate and destroy people. And with that, I'd like to end our discussion on word spells and trance words for today. Thank you guys for watching. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video with friends and family. You can follow me on Facebook, Untethered Truth Prevails. You can also find me on Twitter at Untethered Vince. If you would like to give to me financially, you can go to Patreon, and you can find me there at Untethered Creations. I'm also on Venmo. You can find me if you go to Vince-Barton-1. Once again, I really appreciate you guys for joining me, and I wish you all the best on this journey. Grace and peace to you all.